So I think we're going to start. Welcome to Mediated Visions tonight at the Anvil Theatre. We're delighted that you could come. Fantastic attendance here. I'm your MC. I got roped into it. My name's Sarah Joyce. I'm the director-curator of the New Media Gallery. Thank you. With Gordon Duggan, I curated the Witness exhibition, which is on until November 6th, in case you haven't seen it. The exhibition inspired tonight's program of film, art, and technology. So how did we arrive at this evening? A few months ago, we gathered to discuss how to open the Witness exhibition up to different audiences. We wanted to do something exciting, collaborative, and interdisciplinary, something combining film and big ideas. An event that explored how we live in a connected world of vision technologies and surveillance. These are the artists in the exhibition. The first one is Adam Basanta, A Truly Magical Moment. You'll hear from him later on, so I won't describe this piece. It's fantastic. France Cadet from France. This piece is called Do Robotic Cats Dream of Electric Fish? A fantastic little piece. If they do dream of electric fish, what do they see? This is Raphael Lozano-Hemmer, Surface Tension. One of the oldest works we've shown from 1992, and it touches on the biology and mechanics of vision and surveillance. Bjorn Schulke, Vision Machine number 3. This is a small machine that searches its world. Werner Herzog, Doxa immediately suggested when we met the new Werner Herzog film, which is all about our interconnected world and watchful technologies, and they'll describe this later on. New West Film Festival suggested Mazdak Garibnevez from Open Media, who's a fervent believer in the power of the internet. And we at New Media Gallery suggested Adam Basanta, one of the artists in the exhibition. His work is all about connecting and seeing, as you'll find out. Momentum Youth Festival organized the phone footage workshop with artist Louisa Fung, who's here tonight, I think. Johanna Bartels offered to create our beautiful poster. All these threads and more have been woven into the fabric of tonight, a series of reveries on our interconnected world. So how will a contemporary art exhibition, a documentary film, and 2 talks come together in your mind? It is interesting to contemplate what we will take away from this evening. Will it change how you see the world? Will our speakers give us new insights? Will Werner Herzog blow our minds? Probably. Here's the thank yous. I put them up here because I'll probably forget everybody. But I'd like to extend a big thank you to the core team who brought the evening together. Sincere apologies to anyone I've missed. A special thanks to Christina Friedrich, arts programmer and project coordinator, who's unable to be here and who tracked everything so beautifully. To Doxa, New West Film Fest, Momentum Youth Festival, you've been a joy to work with. To Anvil and theater staff, thank you for making us look good. And to the City of New Westminster, many thanks for your generous support in bringing Mediated Visions to the Anvil Theatre. There'll be a brief intermission after the film, and then we'll return for the 2 short talks. And I think I have to tell you that this event is being videotaped. Now I'd like to introduce you to 2 very accomplished women, Kathleen Mullen, Executive Director of Doxa, Vancouver's Documentary Film Festival, who will share some information about Doxa, and Dorothy Woodend, Director of Programming for Doxa. Enjoy the film.
Hello, I'm Kathleen Mullen. I'm the Executive Director of Doxa, and this is There she is. That's Dorothy Wooden, the Director of Programming. We're going to be a tag team. But I just wanted to just say a very few words. This has been an incredible collaboration for us. DOXA, if you don't know it, DOXA is a documentary film festival. We happen every May. Next year's dates are May 4th to the 14th, 2017. We're turning 16, so very important. We also do year-round programming, which part of that is our motion pictures film series, which this is sort of a part of it, and we also we're going to West Vancouver at the Kay Meek Center on December 5th, and we do other collaborations with various organizations throughout the year. So I hope that you will look up our website and take a look at our programming. But we couldn't have done this, it really was a true collaboration with the New West Media Gallery, and then of course the New West Film Festival, and also the Anvil Center. And it really was a pleasure. We really want to forge connections throughout the Lower Mainland, and it's something that we want to continue to do as an organization. And please check out the New West Film Festival. It starts on Thursday, and it has two incredible films that it's beginning with Closet Monster and Waiting for B. So please, they're a really great film festival here in New West. So, and thank you very much. I'm going to pass it on to Dorothy, who's going to talk about the film. The fun stuff.
Thanks, Kathleen. So I'm Dorothy Woodend. I'm the Director of Programming for DOXA. Thank you for joining us here tonight for the screening of Werner Herzog's Lo and Behold, The Reveries of a Connected World. So this is a very expansive film. It basically starts at the very beginning of the internet with the very first transmission, which is in 1969 between UCLA, a lab at UCLA and a lab at Stratford University. And the very first message, which I won't spoil for you, but it's quite interesting because it kind of sets the tone for what sort of came after. And I was reading, before I'd seen the film, was reading a bunch of reviews, and somebody had noted that Herzog had made a film about the internet where he didn't actually talk about porn. So yay, Herzog! He's keeping it clean. Well, Werner, when we first came out to the Anvil, I had no idea that it was out here. And I'm still, every time I come out, and we've come out for a number of meetings, I'm still just blown away by how extraordinary it is, and specifically the work that Sarah and Gordon have done at the New Media Gallery. It is amazing. So I would encourage you to go often, because the work that they're bringing in is world-class. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So full props to those folks. Good for them. So as Kathleen mentioned, we have a festival upcoming. Our submissions just opened actually on September 26th. So if you know somebody, or if you have a film burning a hole in your back pocket, we're looking, and we're looking deep. So please send your film to DOXA. And I want to just give a brief shout out to all the people who really were instrumental in making this happen. It's been a very collaborative project from the very beginning. So specifically Sarah, she's been great, and Christina, and Jessica Schneider, and Mike Cooper, who's our tech for tonight, have just been great and so welcoming. And New West is amazing. I really like it here. So I hope you enjoyed the film tonight, and please stay with us for the panels and our speakers following. I'm sure they're going to be terrific as well. And thank you.
Okay, so I'd like to introduce Adam Basanta. Adam Basanta is a Montreal-based artist, composer, performer of experimental music. He grew up in Vancouver. He has a BFA in composition from Simon Fraser University and an interdisciplinary MA in composition and sound art installation from Concordia University. He's prolific. He has won numerous national and international prizes. He likes to work across disciplines and with many different media: sound installations, experimental electronic and chamber music composition, site-specific interventions, laptop performance. He just headlined at the New Music Festival here. His compositions, sound, and audiovisual installations have been presented in festivals, galleries, and institutions around the world. Tonight, he will connect us with the work that is in the Witness exhibition, a truly magical moment.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction, Sarah. And thanks for coming back after the movie. Can we switch the screen? Perfect, thank you. So my name is Adam, and I created this slightly ridiculous-looking object called a truly magical moment. And I thought before I really talk about the ideas behind this piece, I'll just show you a quick video just so we all sort of know what we're talking about if you haven't seen the work at the gallery, which you should go and check out all the works in the gallery, by the way. But, so this is an interactive kinetic sculpture. It was made this year. It uses 2 iPhones. So it's an interactive kinetic sculpture using 2 iPhones and 2 selfie sticks and some electronics. And the basic idea is to recreate this classic romantic scene found in many movies where 2 lovers, usually the romantic leads, are dancing in the middle of the dance floor and they're staring into each other's eyes and they have this amazing moment. The way this work operates, this is kind of the 21st century version of that dance scene. So these are 2 functional phones. You dial into one FaceTime account and you have somebody that you know or somebody that you don't know dial into the other cell phone FaceTime account. There's me. When 2 people are connected, the object starts to rotate. And you start hearing this music build up. And as it speeds up and it starts going quite fast, it reaches this very magical moment, which feels something like this. So as you can see, the background blurs or is distorted. All that you see is the face of the person you're FaceTiming with in the phone. That's the only thing that maintains its focus. And this magical moment lasts about 1 minute, and then it slows down, and that's it. You disconnect from the truly magical moment. This piece is a little bit different for me. First of all, usually my work is focused on the relationship between sound and technology. My background is in music. So this is a work that deals more with vision. And also it uses new technology. This is some past work from the last few years. You can see I'm using microphones and speakers, so technology, but not exactly new technology. Even the speakers that I use, often I tend to use recycled or reused discarded technology, stuff that is reclaimed as art, in the name of art, I guess. I also consider myself a technological skeptic rather than a positivist. I probably fall closer to Werner Herzog than some of the really, really excited scientists he was talking to there. Just to give you an idea of this, this is my computer that I'm presenting on right now. And if you can see, this is like a time capsule to 2011. It's as if nothing has changed between 2011 and 2016 in this machine. And actually, I'm presenting this on iWork 2009, so it's actually even out of date for a 2011 computer. So I can be a little bit of a romantic Luddite, probably like Herzog as well. I also work a lot with outdated technologies, not as part of my everyday life, but in my artwork. I'm interested in technologies that embody, where the flaws in the technology embody this sense of nostalgia, which relates a bit to the use of the iPhones in this piece, because as all new technologies, it's aging, and there will probably be a time very soon where the iPhone is as outdated as this cassette tape recorder, which at one point was cutting-edge technology. Really. And so, and actually probably will happen a lot faster than this cassette tape took to reach that point of obsolescence. So with that, sort of context, how did I end up making this work that not only uses current technology, iPhones, but also requires the internet and requires proprietary technology, FaceTime technology, video chat technology, as an integral material, a material that is not material, but it's still integral to the functioning of the piece. Well, this was at a time where I was traveling a lot, my partner was traveling a lot as well. A lot of friends of mine were in long-distance relationships. I think the first couple that I knew that met in online dating got married this year. So I was thinking a lot about this idea of how technology enables communication. That was very important in a lot of my sound work. And I was thinking what tools enable these types of relationships that seemed new in some way. And I thought, what is the equivalent of this intimate romantic moment with this kind of lifestyle of creative people that are traveling and don't have to work from home necessarily, and end up being quite far away from one another physically, often. And of course, the answer is video chat platforms like Skype, like FaceTime. And I was thinking a lot, kind of like Herzog in the film, about whether this is really a type of connectivity, or is this a symptom of a lack of connectivity? Is this a new mode of communication, this extremely happy young doctor? Or is this a cheap virtual copy of the real thing, of the face-to-face? Or maybe a little bit of both. I think it is a little bit of both. But there is this tension between technology actually bridging physical distance, providing a solution, but it's also enabling this physical distance to occur in the first place. It's also part of the creation of the problem. Now, this was just like random thoughts. I didn't have an idea for the piece itself. I didn't think about using iPhones or having them rotate or anything like that. But then I ran into this GIF online. And this GIF inspired the work, as ridiculous as that sounds. And I try to come off as a more serious artist in other talks, but I just thought this is too funny. This GIF was too funny to pass up, and I thought I'll just recreate this Titanic scene, which is spliced with Arnold in this particular GIF, with iPhones, and they'll be spinning, and this idea of romantic moment and virtuality, and just it's going to be so funny. But I'm showing you this GIF for another reason as well, because I think it makes an interesting point about connectivity and about the idea of the virtual copy that's really central to this work. Because this is not only an image or a GIF, it's a GIF that comes out of a meme, an internet meme, which is a cultural statement that's passed from one individual to the other through imitation. That's a meme, kind of like a gene, but uses imitation. And these are the sources, of course, but the original scene, movie scene, is of course from Titanic, and so somebody put this up as a GIF, and then there were many variations. There was a community online that created many variations on this GIF, and one of those variations was the one we just saw, and that's the one that went viral. So it's created by one person, but it's a process of many variations created by many different people who are responding to one another, and this is unique to this kind of connectivity that we have in the internet. Now, what's interesting, and I'm digging deep into GIFs here, which I don't usually do, is that this scene is not very original anyway. You know, this is lovers dancing in the middle of the dance floor is a trope of romantic cinema. There's lots of examples of it. But this is, for me, the ultimate remake of this type of scene, which appears in other movies. And the reason this scene is so successful is because it allows us as viewers to insert ourselves into the scene, to both witness it as this kind of cinematic moment, but also participate in it as it inserts ourselves cinematographically in this point of view perception, where we are the other person. So in a way, I think this scene became kind of famous because and remains iconic for at least people in my generation who were teenagers when this movie came out, because it plays as a copy of our own original experience of maybe dancing in this way. And it's this relationship or intersection between original and copy that I think, where the copy itself is an original variation, that's really unique to this kind of connectivity. It occurs through this community of connected people who each contribute a variation until one of those is successful. Now, ironically, the person who made that Conan/Titanic GIF probably didn't watch either original movies, because those movies were made in 1982 and 1997. And this person probably wasn't born in 1982. So their knowledge of these films is not even a knowledge of the original film that they watched in the theater, but it comes from this shared virtual cultural repository that we call the internet, where we sometimes can no longer distinguish between the original and the virtual copy. And I'm intentionally using this stock image because if you Google image search original copy into Google Image, you will find pages and pages of this image with the intersection sign. They'll be in different colors, there'll be slightly different variations. There's no way to tell which one is the original and which one is the copy. And this is kind of a feature of some of the positive and negative aspects of this kind of connectivity. So back to the piece. So I'm making this piece, and I thought, oh, I'm going to create this virtual copy, not only of the personal moment of dancing that way, but also it's a virtual copy of our shared cultural experience of that cinematic moment, or of the idea that that is romance. So I was thinking a lot about this relationship between the real and the virtual, and how that manifests in the work itself, which became very interesting, because the question, where is the work in this piece, where is the work physically located, is not as easy to answer as it seems at first. Of course, there's the sculpture, which is itself an assemblage of different objects that are totally functional phones, nothing has been modified, selfie sticks from the dollar store, like that sort of thing. But this is unlike other sculptures in that we can ask, is the artwork really complete if it's not plugged into the electricity or the internet? If it cannot be used in the way that you saw in the video? Is it the artwork without the users or the participants? Or is the experience of the work, the participation in it, the actual work? And that's just enabled by the art object, which happens to be in this gallery, but you don't have to be in the gallery to participate in the piece. You can call from home or from this theater. And so the art object is just a way of enabling this non-material, non-locative experience, in the sense you don't actually need to be in the same location as the sculpture. And I think if we do think, and I do think that this experience is at least part of the artwork, then we need to include many other elements in the work. Cue another stock image. So the art is distributed, yes, over the sculpture, over the users, but also over the network. So something like bandwidth is an artistic element here. The space between the phones and the satellite. Every time, if somebody is texting with somebody else in this theater, it literally goes to a satellite and comes back into this theater. Of course, we saw images of storage space, of servers, et cetera, et cetera. There are a lot of material elements, material manifestations of this network which doesn't seem material, including, I was once at a very remote location in BC, and the internet was very, very slow there, always, because it's a very remote community. And some days it didn't work, and I asked why, and they said because it's cloudy, because the rays can't penetrate the clouds. So the internet is very physical, and here the work is distributed over this large network of materials and frequencies, etc. So this sense of distribution of what is the work and how is it spread out over all these different elements And the relationship between the real and the virtual copy, I think, relates very much to the theme of the show, which is witnessing. And I encourage you to go to the gallery and spend time with each of the 4 works, because they all explore this in a slightly different way. So who is witnessing this work? Or what are the multiple levels of witnessing? We can think about witnessing in the sense of the person that's experiencing the work, meaning the person looking at their phone, whether they're at the gallery or not, witnessing their own virtual experience. And in this piece, you need to have 2 of them, so you already have 2 different witnesses. There's also the person in the gallery that's watching the sculpture rotate, while the participants are not actually at the gallery. So they're witnessing this participation as a third person. It's been very interesting in this gallery, especially with school groups, where you have 2 people who are participating in the piece, and then you have people who are witnessing that. They're kind of like looking over the shoulder to see what's happening. And then you have sometimes people who are taking pictures of the people who are on their phones with the experience. Like, they're not taking a picture of the sculpture spinning. They're taking a picture of the people who are activating the work. So we have a few levels of witnessing, and this is maybe a little bit less relevant in this piece, but certainly some of the other works in the exhibition, I think, speak to this very strongly. Is there a sense where the phones are witnessing one another in some basic level? You know, the phone auto-focuses on the other phone that it's facing, and the phone knows that it's connected to a caller from somewhere in the world. So in a very, very basic level, and as I said, I think some of the other works play on this even more, the technology is witnessing us participating in the work. An original idea that I never really did in this piece was that whoever calls, their IP address would be published online, which I never really did, but that would be an example where the technology is witnessing us participating in it. And I think all these levels are sort of in play simultaneously in this work, and that's why it's become a very, very interesting piece for me, where I feel it's operating on these multiple levels. I want to sort of close with the last element, which is the title. This relationship between sincerity and irony in the work, and how this relates to connectivity, and how this relates to virtuality. So I think it's pretty clear for most people that there is an irony in the title, the capitalization especially. As you could see from the video, the moment itself that you experience is, as a virtual experience, as this virtual copy of the real thing, it's not nearly as truly magical, with capital T, capital M, as the actual experience of dancing with somebody you care about. And I've always felt this about telepresence, the idea of video chatting. That it of course allows so much in terms of communication, but it's never really replacing the real thing. And in fact, I always feel that there's, as much as there's telepresence, there's a sense of tele-absence there. Personally, maybe this dates me a little bit, but I feel like talking on the phone is more intimate than video chatting with somebody, because I'm not holding them at a distance. I'm kind of like nestling them between my shoulder and my face, you know? And I don't know if that's just a romantic thing that I have, or if there is something in the gesture, but all this to say that, is this moment truly magical? Is it the more convenient, more affordable, more mobile replacement of the original, which the sort of technological positivism promises us? The answer for me, of course, is not, or at least it's not magical in the same way. So in this sense, the title is full of irony, and the work is this ironic statement. But that doesn't mean there isn't some sincerity in the title, because although the work enables this virtual connectivity, it actually relies on a very physical connectivity for it to operate, for it to take place. And this physical connectivity is one that we are usually unaware of, or usually in denial of. You know, so I go into the Apple Store and I buy an iPhone, but where does this iPhone come from? And how many people were connected in the process of having this phone arrive in my hand, so that I can use it in this funny joke art piece? Well, some people were working in this copper mine, where the copper is mined to create the circuit boards. This is one of the largest copper mines in the world. It's a very big operation. Not all of the operations that result in the iPhone are quite as high-tech. These are people mining for tantalum, which is a really rare chemical. It's used as a non-corrosion element. So it's used in a lot of mobile devices. You can see that this is nowhere near the same technological sophistication, and yet it's essential in this product. And in some way, I'm connected with these people who were part of this, creating this and getting it to me. Of course, the people assembling, and all this stuff has to be shipped from point A to point B and back to point A and back to point B, raw materials, finished products, etc. So, in a sense, having this very elaborate pathway from the mine through the shipping and assembly, all that to my hand, it's a very complicated process to create a very complicated object that is amazingly affordable. I can still afford to buy it. And then I can actually video chat with somebody on the other side of the world. I mean, think about all the people that build the satellites and all this infrastructure that has to take place for this to work. There is a sense where this is amazingly magical. If we didn't have the technological explanation, this would be magic. And in this sense, I think the iPhone, the more I look at this piece and I think about this object aging, you know, and the iPhone will not forever be relevant as like an everyday object, I think it's a great case study in that it provides this amazing virtual connectivity that still does not live up to real connectivity, to real face-to-face connectivity. While on the other hand, it's a manifestation of a global connectivity that as a user I have no idea about, or that I choose not to have any idea about. And hopefully when people encounter this type of work, and some of these issues, of course not all of them come to the forefront right away, but some of these issues of where the work is and who's participating in it and what does it mean to participate and what does it mean for this to be an art object and where did these phones come from, these issues of connectivity and virtuality and copies and global economy come slightly into our awareness, whether in a specific or vague way. And this process of becoming aware is in itself a kind of magical journey that extends outward from the art object, outside of the art gallery, and far beyond that. So that's where I'm going to end, and I think we're going to have a really interesting presentation next. If you have questions, I think we'll have a Q&A after, and so use the telepathy helmet from the film to write it down. Thank you.